notice whatever there is to notice, whatever appears, whatever arises from an open place of noticing, which is not interested in the past or the future. Rather, a place that is resting, not as someone or as something, but just resting as itself, being. You don't need to refer to yourself in any way. Outside of this aware presence, which is shapeless, colorless, formless, and yet absolute. And the peace that you seek lies within this absoluteness, within the undisputable reality of awareness. I am the body, I am the person, are just beliefs that appears to you as thoughts and as a sense of a sensation which we refer to as a sense of me. What is it that refers to itself as this body-mind? What is it that refers to itself as a mortal event in time and space? What is it that perceives the thought, the sensation, which appears and dissolves within its very appearance, is its dissolution? What is it that says I am an event in time and space? I'm born and aging. What is it that says that? The body doesn't say anything. Body is a sensation, an image, a temporary impression in this moment. Some form, some appearance that's appearing. Appearing to whom? Appearing to what? Listen. Not just to that which is heard, but listen to the listening itself. Listening, 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 listening. What is it that says there is something out there and I am here, separate from that? Why do we hold on to this belief in I am here and the world's out there? After all, you experience the world. If the world is out there, how could you experience it? Out there is out there, beyond your experience. What is it that says I am limited, I am mortal, I am me and not you? What is this me and this you in the absence of the mind taking on a position of me and you? Right now you hear these words. Is it your experience that the words are coming from out there? Or is the hearing intimate right here in this moment of intimacy, which we refer to as hearing? But we don't need to use the words hearing. We don't need to speak about hearing, because hearing is taking place irrespective of conceptualizing it. In peace and happiness, there is no separation. In love and as love, there is no separation. You don't need to be identified with your tribe, with your family, with your body, with your gender. Identification separates you unnecessarily. Awareness is not a function of the body. There is no evidence whatsoever that a brain is aware or atoms and molecules are aware. Awareness belongs to awareness. Only awareness is aware. The thought may arise saying, gee, I don't get it. Not only thought does not know you, and therefore is speaking out of its ignorance, but it also refers to you as a separate body, as somebody. But there is no separation in God's kingdom. God's reality is one. Consciousness is one. Yes, there are many branches of the tree, each branch different in its shape and size. But it's one tree, isn't it? Some branches may be carrying many fruits, others less. But it's the same tree, isn't it? Awareness is one. Irrespective of whether what appears is it daylight or night, whether that which appears is the sound of traffic or the song of birds. It's the same awareness, isn't it? So why do you refer yourself? Why do you refer to yourself as a branch rather than the tree? Why refer to yourself as an event, a male, female form, rather than awareness? Why refer to ourselves as a stream of thoughts, sensations, and feelings, rather than the eternal, unmovable awareness, which takes on the form of hearing, breathing, chirping of the birds, the gurgle of a stream. Why refer to yourself as infinite forms while you are the formless self, the formless consciousness, awareness? You say, oh my goodness, I have all these problems. Obviously not referring to awareness, referring to the past, you're referring to the dead stuff which you imagine yourself to be. Recognize yourself not as something which appears and disappears, not as a son, a daughter, brother, sister, not as a body, not as an object, but as the reality of consciousness. So the world, body, mind can dance freely without concern, without worry, in harmony, in the flow. without holding on, without separation. No concern about gathering stuff, accumulation, gain and loss. Everything appears from the mystery, from the source, and dissolves in it, moment by moment, infinite potential. But the source, presence, awareness, consciousness, is infinite. And it's right here, right now, celebrating its creativity within the creation of this experience and every experience. Okay, so if you have any questions, anything that you would like to explore, please make sure you unmute your mic. Any questions? Hello, Holger.
Hello, Magdi. Today I just can give you a big yes. And it's so sometimes it just so deeply resonates. It's just such a big yes, 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 yes. And today is such a yes day. It deeply resonates, and gosh, it sounds so foolish to even to speak. Just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah. You know, Holger, it is this yesness over and over and over that sort of, because it's such
another trap.
it's a happy yesness. And we love the happiness, we love this yesness. So it is this yesness that sort of dispels the doubt, dispels the habits of worry and concern and the doubt. Because the yes is so resonant. And it speaks a language way beyond the language of the mind. It speaks the language of oneness, of wholeness, of unicity, the absolute language, the language of truth, of love, of beauty. And in time, the doubtful aspects of the mind become fainter and fainter. Like when you visit God's garden, when you visit the orange grove, the perfume of the orange blossoms goes deep. It expresses that which cannot be expressed in words. And yet, how sweet it is. And this yesness presents itself in many different ways in life. In life, it presents itself as sometimes as patience, sometimes as being available to the not knowing, sometimes in the understanding of the playfulness of life, the lightness of being. Sometimes it expresses itself in seeing some of our old patterns, our old habits. The familiar visitor. So there is a lived yesness, which takes on many different forms. So in a way, one could say it's a yesness that accompanies, that's available to our experience. Which is different from yes, but, or yes, only if. But sort of an available yesness. without concern about any direction or any outcome or any, without seeking certain feeling. Maybe a willingness to exposing what our seeming vulnerability. Of course, there is no vulnerability when it comes to our true nature. But in living, there may be some old tendencies to protect it. So the yesness in life may take the form of being available to exposing those aspects of ourself that seemingly resist.
But resisting what? I mean, just a misunderstanding.
Yes, of course. It's a misunderstanding because there is no separate subject and a separate object.
Hey, Joel, how you doing? Good.
So
Thank you, Magdi.
yes, the false impression of resistance, which we may sometimes experience and feel, and I guess the yesness in that unfolding is not to wiggle yourself out of it.
Yeah, it seems like every pain just created more and more resistance.
Yes, which creates more and more pain.
Yeah. What a creative act, yes.
Like the tops, the top, you wind it, and then when we were kids, you used to play with the top, you wind the rope, the string around the top, and you make it spin and spin and spin. You wind it really good. I used to like to play with the tops. Did you ever play with the tops? Did you have that when you were a kid? No? They're like a little round piece of wood, like sort of, it's hard to describe it. It has a little pin, and you wind the string around it and you spin it, and it. Anyways. Forget.
Hello, Magdi. Namaste.
Yes, Namaste, Rahul. Hello.
Hi, Magdi.
Yes, hello, Charlie.
I feel like I most of the time associate awareness or have, I'm not sure associate's the right word, but connect awareness with a very subtle feeling, or maybe like the darkness behind my eyes, or a very subtle image which I'm not aware of. And I always feel like I never quite get back to the full formlessness of awareness.
Yes. So right now you're aware, yes?
Mm.
Yes, are you? You're aware?
Yeah.
Yes. So what's the color or the shape of awareness right now?
No shape, no color, no shape.
Yes. And no form, yes? No size, no density, no viscosity. And yet you cannot deny awareness, yes? Can you? Can you deny awareness this moment?
No.
No. So the darkness or the sensation or the feeling, all of these, they're appearances. Like the appearance of the movement of my hand, the appearance of a sound, the appearance of a color. So although you associate awareness with a feeling or a certain sensation behind the eyes or a certain darkness or lightness, it is like associating the infinite sky, which is colorless and shapeless, yes, with the color blue. It seems blue, doesn't it? Sometimes, or black with the little shiny spots at night. So similarly, we associate the sky with blue or with black with the moon and the stars. But in fact, it's not neither black nor blue. It has no color, no shape. So in this moment, you are aware. You may perceive a sensation. Say, "Oh well, I'm perceiving awareness as a sensation." But it's similar to looking at the blue sky and saying it's blue because I'm perceiving a blue color. So yes, there is no problem with the sensation, Charlie. It's or said maybe a dark color or whatever. There's no problem with that. It's just it's an appearance. But to associate, to say, oh well, yeah, the sky is blue. You need to take a look at that because the sky is not blue. So you come to an understanding, like in the old days, we used to say, oh, the earth is the center of the universe because everything seems to be rotating around, the sun is rotating around the earth. It seems that way. It's a perception. It's a perception, but then via our understanding and our direct experience is the that which seals the deal. Our experience of awareness is colorless and shapeless and formless and undeniable. And so what appears appears within awareness, out of awareness to awareness. I perceive the body-mind, I perceive the thoughts, I perceive a perception, I perceive a color, I perceive a shape, a sensation. But that which perceives is not an object. It's not a blue color or a white color or a feeling. A feeling does not perceive. Awareness is the reality which perceives. We have to be clear about what we mean by awareness. Awareness is the reality which perceives, which is and which perceives. So a thought does not perceive, a thought is perceived. Similarly, a feeling is perceived. A feeling does not perceive. It doesn't perceive awareness. It doesn't perceive another thought. It doesn't perceive an oak tree. So a feeling or a thought or a perception is perceived. So that which perceives is not perceived. So whenever you're referring to something that you're perceiving, a color, a shape, a feeling, a sound, a sensation, a memory, you are referring to something which you are perceiving. You is awareness. You is not Charlie. Charlie is the name of the body, of the male boy. Mom and dad said, oh, we like Charlie. It's a beautiful name. So they named the body Charlie. But they did not name awareness because they don't even know about awareness. Very few people do. We know more about our cars and about our bank account than we know about awareness, and yet awareness is our primary experience. It's not possible to perceive a car or to experience a car without awareness. So when by awareness, we're not referring to Charlie. Charlie is what you perceive. So right now you may perceive an image of Charlie or a sensation, which we refer to as the body. You may perceive a memory of Charlie, 10-year-old boy. So that which you perceive, the 10-year-old boy or the image or the sensation, that which you perceive does not perceive. That which perceives is always I referring to awareness, I, consciousness, I, presence, I, the reality. So it's okay to perceive a sensation or a feeling, but not to confuse that to be awareness or consciousness. Whatever you perceive is not it. Yes? Whatever you perceive, even a great psychedelic experience, is not it. You cannot perceive awareness. But you are awareness, and whenever you get a peek, you get a glimpse into, oh, I am awareness, you get a glimpse. Some structures collapse, the false structures of I am this man, I am this person, I am this good guy, and blah, blah. That to various extent it collapses, and this is a very good collapse because it's a collapse of the false. You cannot collapse the true, the real cannot collapse. Only the false can be dispelled upon your understanding that it was in fact your uncle who was dressing up as Santa Claus because you saw him dressing up as Santa Claus. Then the belief that Santa Claus is in the North Pole or whatever, collapse in that moment, the false collapses. And so we welcome the collapse of the false, and the core falsehood is that consciousness is personal and that it depends on the body-mind, and therefore it's generated by the brain or by, I don't know, by the world.
Somehow I don't have the belief that consciousness is, I don't find any reason to believe that consciousness is personal. Actually, I do philosophy, and I'm writing an essay, so I know the like logical arguments, but somehow it's like not fully. There's a big difference between knowing it in the mind and really feeling the yeah.
Well, first, at the mind level, you need to come to complete clarity that consciousness is not the result of a brain activity or the result of the body. There is no evidence whatsoever for that. Nobody has ever dissected the body and found awareness. No one has ever demonstrated that when you fire the brain in some way, there will be awareness. They've demonstrated that if you fire the brain in a certain way, you may perceive different colors, you may stop hearing, or your hearing may be restored, whatever. But it never was demonstrated that any brain activity or any brain function generates awareness. Awareness being the reality that perceives. So first you need to come to clarity that, okay, given that there is no evidence whatsoever that the awareness was born when the body named Charlie was born, therefore I'm open. I'm not holding on to that belief. I'm available. I'm a blank page. Right? That's very important. Okay, I don't know. There's no evidence that awareness is born. I've never experienced the birth of awareness. Nobody has ever demonstrated to me that awareness is born. And yet awareness is. The proof of awareness is in your experience right now. Every moment. If we never experience, quotes unquote, non-awareness, it's not possible. What would experience non-awareness? It's not possible. So awareness is the reality of your experience. We have no evidence that it's dependent on the body-mind. So the body-mind is the realm of experiences. You know, hunger, cold, heat, hot, beautiful, creative thought, etc. And awareness is a screen. So it's like awareness is the ocean, and experiences are the waves. You know, so the waves arise out of the ocean. They're experiences, feelings, sensations, memories, perceptions. See? The ocean is not trying to experience itself. It is already itself. It's already itself. So when you're trying to experience awareness, or you're wondering about awareness, it's awareness who's wondering about itself. The ocean is saying, where's the ocean? Where's the ocean? Where's the ocean? How can I be the ocean? Ocean? But when the ocean rests, it's not asking, oh, am I the ocean? Am I the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean? Which ocean am I? Am I big ocean, small ocean, blue ocean, cold ocean, hot ocean? And of course, the ocean is not a thing that's hot, cold, and whatever for the ocean. This is just This just, it conceptual. This is a realm, a different realm, the realm of mind. Ocean is the ocean. So you are what you are. You are that which you are. It's not a feeling, it's not a sensation, it's the reality. The reality of your experience right now is awareness. What else would it be? What else would it be? Are you not aware in this moment? Yes, absolutely. So awareness, this moment is aware. It's awareness which is aware. It's aware every moment. It's never not aware, not aware. Awareness cannot be not aware. Water cannot be oil. I mean, maybe it's a silly metaphor, but awareness can only be awareness. Therefore, it's aware. It's awareness, aware. It's awareness. But it's not an experience such as experiencing a good feeling or experiencing, a good drink, or it's not like that. So the looking for awareness, the looking comes from awareness. But awareness is never looking out. Awareness rests as itself. It says, I am. It says it from itself to itself. Because there is no other reality outside of awareness. It's not speaking to its uncle or its grandfather. It's just to itself. It says, I am. I am. Above the earth, below the heavens, I am. I am the only one. I am. I am the one I. When you say I, when he says I, when she says I, when it's the same I, the same I, same awareness. Same awareness. So to say I know it intellectually is separating yourself. You say, oh, I know it. I know it. What is this it that you know intellectually? What is this it that there is no it that you know intellectually? There is no it. You are it. It's not like you are. You know it. I can know. What my mother looks like in the crowd, but I'm not my mother. You put 20 women in the crowd, and I'll tell you, this one is my mother. It is because I'm not my mother. But you cannot put me in the crowd because you cannot put me in the crowd and tell me, okay, well, find yourself. Dude, what do you mean find myself? I am myself. You see. But if you take pictures of me and you make a sculpture that looks just like me, and you put them in the crowd, and you tell me, okay, find yourself in the crowd. I'm going to tell you, here I am. I am here. I am not in the crowd. Here I am. Oops. I'm going to just mute. Okay. So I'm going to tell you, no, I'm not going to find myself out there because I'm already here. You see. So be wary of telling yourself, I understand it intellectually, but I'm not getting it, non-intellectually. I sort of understand what you're saying, but I'm inviting you not to buy into that. Because you cannot know anything about yourself intellectually because you are yourself. So what you can intellectually is know that which you are not. In other words, you say, oh, I know that I'm not my grandmother. I know that I'm not the oak tree. I know that I'm not my dog. I know I'm not my car. I know I'm not my body. But you cannot know that which you are intellectually. You can only be it because you already are it. So you are the transparency, the reality of consciousness. And whenever you leave that understanding and go, I am Charlie, it's fine for functional purposes. Charlie needs to drive the car, the body Charlie. Charlie needs to get the paper ready, blah, 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 blah. So it's okay to refer to the functional organism as Charlie. You say, okay, I'm writing the paper, blah, blah, blah. But do not forget that this is for functional purposes, only for in the dance. You know, the orange on the tree says, oh, I am this orange. I am ripe. I'm almost ripe. I'm going to fall off. I'm going to, another day, tomorrow, I'm going to be ripe for the eating. That's fine in the relative sense. So don't confuse those two aspects of your life, where in a way there is the Charlie character, which is what you are sort of managing. So you say, okay, I am going to write a letter. I'm going to write a paper. So I'm going to use Charlie to study these various topics and to put these ideas down and write the paper. It's all sort of a magic show. You know, it's like the weather. And now the weather is gonna rain. It's gonna thunderstorm. Then it's gonna be rainy. So, on one level, there is the Charlie character and all the functions. But when it comes to truth, you are that. You are this reality. You are awareness. And awareness doesn't belong to a body, doesn't belong to a brain, doesn't belong to any organization. So simply be watchful of referring to yourself mistakenly. It's not a problem. It's no mistake in referring to the body as Charlie, the body mind as Charlie, but not to yourself, not to the self, as not to consciousness. Do not refer to consciousness as Charlie. And celebrate life, because life is a reflection of consciousness.
Thank you, Magdi.
Okay, Charlie, nice talking to you. Any questions? Any questions? Okay.
Hi, Magdi. Patrick.
Hello, Patrick.
My question I know comes from my ego, but I'm curious. All the teachers like yourself that I come across have an ability to speak intelligently from a place of truth. And I know this is my ego comparing my path to where I'm at now to where I expect the path to lead. But is it possible that perhaps yourself and other teachers had the gift to be able to speak intelligently, and then they just added this new dimension of awakening to that?
Yes, yes.
And I know I'm not trying to compare myself to others and all that, but it is something I've been curious about. That is this something that arose in you, or was it a way of awareness taking advantage of your previous skills and talents?
Yes, yes.
Thank you for
Sure. It's a little bit of both, Patrick. So every body mind is different. So for teaching, there are three important aspects that are helpful. One of them is a love for teaching, sort of an enjoyment of teaching, an enjoyment of sharing and exploring together and teaching. And that varies across body, mind, and body, mind. The other thing that's important in teaching, it's quite helpful, is to develop the skills, teaching skills. You may love to teach but not have the teaching skills, and so that will affect the efficiency of the teaching. The teaching skills can be developed both during teaching and, of course, before teaching. In my case, for example, I had a love for teaching from, I'm talking about sharing the truth, teaching the truth, since the 70s, and but the skills of teaching, took a while to develop. Mostly for the past 15 years or so. And of course, in my case, by listening to Francis Lucille, my, I would say, Sadhguru, listen to how he teaches, how he shares, and Jean Klein, how he speaks, and sort of to get together a sense of that. And of course, through my teaching, through the process of teaching, there's been a change in noticing, that this is a better way of saying it, this is a better metaphor, etc. So these teaching skills develop that way. And of course, one final very important thing is that you speak your truth, you speak the truth. So, of course, in one way. Truth is absolute, but that's not what I mean. What I mean is, you speak your truth. You'll be speaking your experience. Your experience. It doesn't have to be, whatever it is. So when you're speaking your truth, it's good, no matter what your truth is. Now, in terms of being a teacher that can speak about the summit, then it has to be a teacher that has been to the summit and therefore is speaking his or her experience. But not all teachers speak from the summit. Some speak from whatever altitude they are or they have visited. In some cases, I'm getting off your question a little bit now. In some cases, teachers speak from a rest area as if they have reached the destination. That is because they confuse the rest area with the destination. They may not be disingenuous. It's just that they have a limited understanding and they are confusing the rest area to be the destination. Of course, the best teacher that you would, whose company you would seek, would be the teacher that is speaking from their direct experience of the destination. And that is the teacher that hopefully you will resonate with at some point or the other. You're bound to resonate with a teacher like that, because your path has to be to the one destination. There's only one destination. And sooner or later, you're going to meet your teacher who will take you, finish the final crossing. But I just got on a tangent here. In answering your question, the three conditions are necessary: the love for the teaching, the skills of teaching, and speaking your experience.
Thank you so much, Magdi, and thank you so much for that song. These have been very powerful. Thank you.
Wonderful. I'm glad, Patrick. Okay, any questions? Okay, well, if there are no other questions, I thank you all for your lovely company. Frank, nice to see you, Frank, and Holger, Patrick, Charlie, Mina.
Thank you, Magdi.
Okay, Mina. Rahul. Hey, George. Shiva. Hello, Marga. Holly. Hey, Holly. Esther. Grace. Kelly. Peter. And Walter. Thank you, Ari.
Thank you, Magdi.
Thank you, Magdi.
Goodbye, everybody.